Alright, let's just get on with it, okay? I'm Survival Bill, and I'd like to give you some handy tips for survival. First off, you see a lot of television programs about survival in the wilderness, and I've seen a lot of those, and after a while, you start to think, well, they're a bit redundant. Let's try something a little more close to home, and literally what I want to talk about is survival in the home. A lot of people don't see this as a dangerous thing, but actually there are a lot of issues that must be dealt with to do with survival in the home. First, I don't know where to start. There's so many things I can cover here. First off, for instance, you must cover the basic human needs. Personally, I like to keep some food in the fridge for emergency. You never know when you get hungry. You must look after your specific needs, which is food, shelter, and of course your health, which would be thirdly. If you didn't have food and shelter, your health may be more in jeopardy. So let's deal with survival. For instance, on my coffee table here, which is a handy little thing to have, just to place your survival items and your necessities. I have a handy glass of water here, first off, because water is the primary need for survival. I'm going to take a little drink now. As a matter of fact, I'm a bit thirsty. I'll do it quickly because I don't want to waste too much of your time. I like to have, like I said, some food in the fridge, and right here on the table, my handy coffee table, which I recommend everybody get one of these. They're very handy just to have your survival items here. What I have here is a nice little chocolate. You can see I have a whole box of them here, which are more for, snacking, and sometimes that's a comfort food when you're feeling stressed, because in today's world there's a lot of stress, and keeping stress down helps your health as well, and it is a form of survival, emotional survival. We must, we're seeking happiness as well. So, but here again I digress a bit. We're dealing with our basic needs. So we've got, number one, I recommend that you go shopping, okay? If you're too busy doing this, you're too busy doing that, go shopping, get some food, okay? Put that in the fridge. A fridge is a very handy item to have. You can have the frozen food and just to keep things cool, right? So that's good. And if you don't have a stove, well, you can get by, but I recommend a stove. Fridge and a stove. They go well together. You can cook a lot of that frozen food and things like that, okay? Because you can't just survive on water. But I feel like I'm surviving already. All right, other essential items. You never know when you might have a power outage, so always on your coffee table have yourself a handy dandy flashlight, because you never know, right? It's preparing for the unknown dangers. For instance, if I had to suddenly leave the building and leave a message, and I have a pen here, I can write down ideas, I can write down locations where I am, where I can be found if I'm deemed to be missing by somebody. Where is he? Well, look, and some paper. With pen and paper, much handier than trying to write on the coffee table or on a wall. Get some paper and pen, okay? That's handy. And I'm just covering the basics here. Like I said, the things I happen to have on my coffee table are a perfect example. Kleenex tissue, there you go. You see, you never know when you might get a cold with the sniffles, sneeze unexpectedly in mixed company, and embarrassing things can happen. So always have a box of Kleenex nearby. And also what I have here, in case it gets a little chilly in the home, is a blanket, which I like to call my survival blanket myself. I feel very secure with my survival blanket, and it's there whenever I need it if I get chilly, okay? Now, Personally, I'm sitting on a couch right now. You don't have to have a couch. It's not a survival necessity. It's more of a creature comfort. Some people may prefer sitting on the floor. What I do have, again, which is not an actual survival tool, but it is more again of a relaxation tool and an entertainment tool, is a television. Now some of you may say, well, we can't afford a television, and that's totally understandable. Or a computer for that matter. If you don't have a computer, you probably won't be seeing this, so it doesn't matter. It kind of cancels itself out. So, but I have my coffee table here with my remote controls for my DVD player, my cable television, and etc., etc. I also, on my coffee table, like to keep, now some people might be surprised by this. This is a professional slingshot, okay? You see that? See how it fits on there very nicely? Get a good grip, okay? Survival. Perhaps you have a home invasion. I'm not mocking I think they're terrible things. But should it happen, you've got your slingshot. You could grab your cigarette lighter, for instance. Here we go. We've got this is an actual survival tool. This could save you. In case of, somebody breaking in, you put your lighter in the slingshot and whammo! Just knock their block right off. Take them by surprise. They'd never expect you to have a slingshot. That's the brilliance of it. And, I could go on, I have my little survival bandana, as you can see. It makes me look like a bit of a hippie or something, but it keeps my hair back out of my eyes, so in case perhaps the ceiling could fall in. I mean, who knows? But I'm not wearing a safety helmet. I think that's a bit over the top. But survival in the home is important. And I wear this, if I'm speaking a little fast, it's because I want to get all this information to you. I think it's important. The bandana is to keep the hair out of my eyes so that I can see. My peripheral vision is very clear. And it should perhaps, a mosquito or a fly. I mean, mosquito can carry diseases, all right? We're not going to, flies, you don't want them landing on you, and if they're buzzing around, you're much more likely to see them with your peripheral vision, and whack. I wouldn't recommend the slingshot because I don't know, it's not accurate for things that small. So there you go. What I like to do is I like to have a clock. That tells me what time it is, and I think that's a good survival tool in terms of if you have to be somewhere, for instance, you need to make some money to go and buy the food and to pay for the costs of your home, whether it's rent or mortgage, whatever. You might have a job. So in order to arrive at your job in time, you need the clock. You need to know what time it is. Knowledge of time is very important. It helps everything. If you arrive late at work too many times, or you just arrive randomly, I don't think that's going to work for your boss. So always have a clock handy. I'm just looking around the room here now for ideas. Besides my flashlight, I have a multitude of devices that will enable me to survive in this environment, which can be at times very threatening. As I said, it gets cold, I've got my blanket. If it gets dark, I've got my flashlight. If it gets dangerous, I've got my slingshot. If I'm bored or feeling stressed, I've got my television, which I do recommend getting one because then you'll be able to, utilize the remote controls. Don't go getting yourself a remote control without the television set. That's not too bright. Okay? I know I'm going on and on here, but I think I've said enough.